This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week, we take a look at food and drink trends in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Julie Fisk, podcast producer for the Dallas Morning News, and this week we're celebrating the 4-year anniversary of this podcast.
Woo!
Eat, Drink, DFW launched on this very week in 2022, so we're going to take a look back at all the greatest and honestly not so great food moments we've seen since then. That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you. Whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable, no place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. And we'd love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I'm joined by food writers Sarah Blaskovich and Imelda Garcia. Happy anniversary, ladies.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Can you guys believe you've been podcasting for 4 years now?
Well, I have to tell you guys, I didn't bring a gift.
What?
Oh.
I know. I thought about it like an hour ago. And then I was like, what do you bring to a 4-year anniversary?
I think we need a cake or margaritas or something. This is not a celebration. Margaritas.
It's margaritas for sure.
So I've been going back through our old episodes since day one, and I thought it was really interesting that our very first episode in 2022 was called Why Are Restaurants So Expensive Right Now? So
that's funny.
I know. I guess absolutely nothing has changed.
Except that everything has changed because today, why are restaurants so expensive right now? That's a more apt title. I think if we were to look back 4 years, we might laugh at what we thought was expensive then.
Yes, we were kids. We were innocent.
I know.
But I mean, the $15 burger that we were probably arguing about or hemming and hawing over whether we should really order, that burger's $22 today.
Man, we didn't know how lucky we were, did we?
Yeah.
We didn't.
So, Sarah, why don't you hit some highlights?
Okay, a couple things that come to mind over the last 4 years. Girl dinner.
Dinner.
Zakaria Washington, our digital producer, just joined us, and that was phenomenal singing.
Thank you.
She doesn't know it yet, but she's also going to be our part-time karaoke singer on this podcast.
Love that job.
I'm just kidding. Girl dinner. Okay, so I think we universally super hated the name, thought it was, dumb. However, I think about girl dinner every day.
Okay. What is your girl dinner?
It can be any dumb picnic thing that doesn't require cooking.
Yeah.
And as we've established on this podcast, I either cook Thanksgiving dinner or nothing. I have no idea how to feed my family on a weeknight in 30 minutes or less, which is thank God for my husband because he's real good at that. But girl dinner is a couple carrot sticks. There's definitely cheese, probably 2 or 3 cheeses, which are already in the fridge because there's always cheese. Certainly hummus to dip whatever vegetable is on the plate. And then if we have charcuterie, either meats or fruits.
Okay.
Those go on the plate too. And they all get jammed together and it doesn't even look cute. There's no style on the plate. This is how I put food in my face quickly.
Yes, because you're not trying to impress anybody.
No,
you're just eating.
I'm actually really not impressing anybody. I mean, saying it out loud is bad. But so hate the phrase girl dinner, so do it. Now, also in the last 4 years, thank goodness, we continue to put flaming hot Cheetos on everything.
I love that. Elote
So good.
with flaming Cheetos.
Oh, it's so good.
Mac and cheese with flaming hot Cheetos.
Fried chicken with flaming Cheetos.
Oh, so good.
It's so good.
I love it.
Yeah, this one, don't call it a capital T trend because I want it forever. Flaming hot Cheetos just belong places.
Do you remember when it was Flaming Hot Cheeto Mountain Dew?
I do. Maybe that was a step too far.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
It's like that moment from Jurassic Park where they're like, you were so busy trying to do it, you didn't question if you even should.
All right, there's the line.
Yes.
And that was the step over the line. Yeah, fair point. Also, in the last couple of years, we wrote quite a bit of stories about where celebrities like to eat in Dallas. And I can feel the eye rolls from 4 people who read those stories and thought this wasn't interesting. And the other 200,000 of you, hello.
Yes.
Welcome to my corner of the world. And yes, I do care that Tom Brady ate at Albernays not once, but twice in the last 2 Dallas Cowboys seasons. And y'all did too. We followed where Mark Wahlberg ate when he came to town. He went to a place called La Neta, which is no longer there.
Oh.
Sorry, Marky Mark. Matt LeBlanc from Friends went to Joe T. Garcia's in Fort Worth.
Of course.
And Kevin Hart went to Happiest Hour. You know, we just kind of liked to see where people went.
Can I just say, I had just started working here when we talked about Kevin Hart on the podcast, and that episode blew up. And I was like, well, this changes everything. We need to find a celebrity every week.
I know. And we didn't quite do that. But if somebody interesting was somewhere and the restaurant was willing to tell us about it. I mean, the thing I always ask as the journalist who asks the hard questions, y'all, is I always want to know what they ate. Right? Like we know from Instagram that Tom Cruise went to Pecan Lodge, but what did he eat? And so his person sent me like a list of all the barbecue things that he ate. Now, I can't be sure he took a bite of all of those things. Have we seen Tom Cruise? He seems fit and small, but we know what at least was ordered. Those are the things that I like to know too.
I feel like Tom Cruise doesn't eat food. Like he gets some sort of like cube of grain.
Oh my God.
That he eats 3 times a day.
Yeah, he just gets like Popeye's can of spinach, opens it up, downs it just like a cartoon character and moves on with his day. I know that's true.
So we all know everybody wants to hear about celebrities in DFW, and boom, enter Taylor Sheridan.
Oh my gosh, that's right. So, you know, the guy who created Yellowstone is filming Landman in Fort Worth and other shows as well in DFW. And that is really cool because it strengthens our economy. It brings eyeballs and dollars here. And what it also means is that famous people are eating around in our restaurants. So I feel like people in Fort Worth seem to just know that Billy Bob Thornton is around and that he seems to love Joe T. Garcia's. So it's like, okay, that's cool. And on the red carpet of a Landman premiere, some of our journalists asked a lot of these celebrities as they walked by just where they liked to eat. And the list was really interesting. Like they found some cool places. They found the Dirty Crow, which is like a dive bar near West 7th. They like Hatsuyuki Hand Roll Bar. In fact, several Landman characters said they liked to go eat sushi there in Fort Worth. Hurtado Barbecue came up on the list, Paloma Suerte, Press Cafe. So Fort Worth really saw a moment of celebrities showing up and then posting to their social media feeds where they were liking to eat.
And if you don't live in Texas and Landman is your impression of what things look like in Fort Worth, not that many people wear cowboy hats. I just have to
that's true.
emphasize
I
that.
promise. And a lot of TV shows happened on these 4 years. The Bear, where Carmi took us to a real stressful kitchen. Guys, I was so stressed.
I think that the Feast of the Seven Fishes episode is still my very favorite hour of television that has ever existed.
Girl, I had to turn it off. I was aging exponentially through that show. It was so stressful in that episode.
It was very sweaty. But like then comes John Mulaney, who I love so dearly.
He's so great.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is everything.
Yeah.
What The Bear did, Imelda, to me is took people into a kitchen, into what a lot of chefs say is really real looking. And one thing I loved about The Bear was even the parts that maybe are a little bit fictionalized, it did bring to the front a place that is usually not in people's minds. The back of the kitchen is the place where if you've never been in one of those places, you may not know and not care what life is like in a kitchen. You know, our lives every day are talking to people who work in kitchens. And so it was really neat to watch regular people have to experience what it's like to see a kitchen like The Bear.
And there's a lot of pageantry that goes into working these really fine dining establishments that I had no idea.
Yes.
Like staging. I had no idea that was a thing. And forgive me, I think I said staging very early on this podcast, and I was corrected very quickly.
Staging. This is right. Yeah, this is basically unpaid internships in high-end kitchens in order for somebody to learn by doing something probably over and over again in kind of the lowest part of the kitchen, the least important job. You know, if you talk to some chefs, they think it's a really good way to learn. If you talk to others, they believe that people should be paid for their work.
What I love about the show also was all this concept about family. It's your other family
Yeah.
because you spend a lot of time there. I mean, you see them getting married, getting divorced, having children. I mean, it's a lot of drama, but they grow up in time together. And that's really interesting.
One thing I would like from the bear, again, are things that we can actually cook at home. Remember the omelet?
Of course.
Yes.
Omelet, like I want more of that where I can actually try it in my own kitchen.
How many omelets with crushed potato chips on top were made in the world
I know. I know.
because of that show?
And food was incidental, but White Lotus. And I stop everything. Before we talk about this, I want Julie to talk like Victoria Ratliff.
What, like this, Imelda?
Yeah, exactly
Popper,
like
no.
that.
No.
I love that.
Because I look a little bit like her.
Julie
said, was it
Me,
you?
I did, and I was so worried I was going to hurt your feelings, and it was an immense compliment because I think she's so beautiful. But you have the better haircut that she has on the show. You have similar style, but yours looks better in real life. And then because she was from the Carolinas, and you are too, Julie, there was so much about her that I liked more than I should have because I like you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I will say, after a couple of bourbons, I definitely slip into a Victoria accent.
Love this.
Very easily. But
What was the drug of choice? Lorazepam.
Lorazepam?
We
Hang
need
on.
to dip into Southern Julie more than we have in the past.
Yes, I agree.
Somebody put a pin in that. We'll hear a little bit more from North Carolina Julie when we need you.
The thing that was so amazing about White Lotus, though, was the fruit. Do you remember?
Absolutely.
They were going
So
through
much
this
fruit.
amazing buffet every morning and coming away with just plates filled with melon of some kind.
And another thing that happened in these 4 years was all the influencers influencing guys. It's amazing. It's crazy.
So
now.
much influencing.
Inside that world, Keith Lee, the phenomenon,
Huge.
the explosion.
I think he's the best.
Yeah. And
When
it's-
Keith Lee said he was coming to town to eat Dallas food, it was such an internet moment. It was a call to action for our team to cover this guy, who was about to critique our restaurants. And we thought, what is he going to say? What does he know about Dallas? And then plot twist, he moves here.
Yeah, and it was really crazy to see all the businesses, and some of them even had an implosion because they cannot manage all the people.
This was record scratch stuff. Our team wrote stories about how restaurants were thriving and failing. There was even one restaurant that was unfairly affiliated with something he said, and it wasn't that restaurant.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember? And it
Yes.
was like those poor people got hit with a stray bullet kind of thing. The whole thing was kind of insane.
I remember, though, the first review that I saw of Keith Lee's, I had no idea who he was, and he was at a chicken place in Houston. Never in my life have I wanted to eat chicken more.
Wow.
And I don't know exactly what he's doing or how it's different, but the way he described the chicken, it was torturous watching him eat that chicken.
Wow.
And knowing that I was going to have to drive several hours to get to it.
Zakaria, I want to ask you were not here for any of this Keith Lee food reporting, but you're very online and you're younger than me. What do you think of Keith Lee?
I love Keith Lee. Oh my gosh. Like, he just brings something a little different to the food critic space. I never once in my life thought that I would see someone critique food online and have this much of an impact on restaurants just everywhere. He's created a lane in the food space that is kind of new. And I personally love to listen to him.
Were you here when he came through?
I met him. What? Yes, he was awesome. He said he has a lot of plans for the Dallas area as far as just giving back and working with different restaurants in the area.
Ooh, and what about Stanley Cups, y'all? Remember those?
Wow, yes. I still don't own one.
I do not own one either. And I just think all the accessories and everything that came out of the Stanley,
Madness?
yeah, crazy.
I do own two that are my children's and not mine. And I hate them so much.
Sarah, do they have the purses and the
No,
little-
girl. No. No, because that's my money. I already paid $1 zillion for 2 cups that don't cup. Like, they have a job to not spill, and I have little kids whose cups spill. So we get them the Stanley Cups, and they spill. And then but we still want to carry the Stanley Cup. I just can't with the Stanley Cup.
One good thing is, even though they don't cup well, they can be used as a weapon. So keep that in mind because they're big and cumbersome. Also, they do not open easily. Mine has been living in a cabinet now for about 6 months because I can't get it to open.
You know, in the next 4 years, let's not talk as much about Stanley Cups, deal?
Deal.
But let's get serious about some of the other things that happened in food in the past 4 years. Price of food went up for consumers, but it also dramatically increased for suppliers, those who are selling the food. Rent prices are higher than ever in Dallas, which means it's hard to open a new restaurant or to keep it open. Tariffs threatened restaurateurs' ability to get certain ingredients from other countries, from olive oil to wine to coconut milk to coffee. And ICE raids. We've heard from diners who are afraid to eat in restaurants for fear of an ICE raid. And we've talked to restaurant workers who have been deported to their home countries.
And there's been a big change in alcohol consumption. Back in 2022, were mocktails even a thing? Was that a word?
Yeah, I would say that's been a cool thing that's happened in the last 4 years, that we are seeing more bars and restaurants that are there for people who want to lower or even eliminate their alcohol consumption, but still are looking to have a good time and to drink something interesting.
In the past 4 years, we also saw a lot of changes in science, guys. I mean, lab ground meat, robots. I mean, wow, amazing. And the rise of all the GLP-1 medications and now artificial intelligence. This is crazy, guys.
Yeah, and didn't a restaurant close because of GLP-1s, or they felt like they did?
Yes, that's right. We reported that Trova Wine Bar, which was in Preston Center in University Park, it closed for a host of reasons. But one of the reasons was the owners said that a lot of their customers were simply eating less because they were on these new medications where you're not as hungry. And of course, then you end up losing weight. And so they said our customers are drinking less and just eating less.
And I remember on that same episode, we had our science fellow Miriam on to talk about it. And she told us she had lost like 90 pounds on GLP-1s, which none of us knew. And she had so much great information.
Yeah, I really liked that segment. I recommend anybody go back and listen to it because she gave us insight into what GLP-1s are, which I think is really important. There was a day not that long ago when none of us knew that phrase. And of course, now I feel like it's talked about daily. But Miriam gave the science of it. And then she also let us in on the fact that she's been taking Wegovy. And I just think that was a fascinating twist.
And we also saw the death of a lot of very important restaurants. We saw the near death of the Zodiac Room.
I mean, we grieved the Zodiac Room before it closed, and then it didn't. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, and the Zodiac is so important to the history of Dallas food. Its longtime chef, Helen Corbett, was really important to that restaurant and to the way that female chefs were perceived during her era. She was really famous. And do you guys remember when former food editor Anna Butler talked about her food origins and her sort of story around food? She talked about Helen Corbett, this Dallas chef who made such a mark on a fabulous ladies who lunch place inside the flagship Neiman Marcus. The Zodiac is still open today, and its future is uncertain. But we mourned the Zodiac, and then we thought, wait, hold the presses. It didn't close like we thought it would.
Yeah, but some places weren't so lucky. What were some other big restaurants that closed?
Oh, some of mine. Let's see, The Porch on Henderson Avenue in Dallas, a comfort food place that people loved. Maiden, a vegan tasting menu in Fort Worth that was maybe not known by a lot, but to me was really an interesting player in a place called Cowtown, where you could go and eat a many course meal without any dairy or meat in it at all. I thought it was a revelation, and I thought the food was beautiful, but it didn't make it. Petra and the Beast, one of the most eccentric restaurants Dallas has ever seen, that closed in East Dallas. And then, you got your steakhouses, Lowry's, Morton's, Knife Steakhouse. None of those lived past these 4 years since we've been podcasting.
And Campo Verde, Christmas Land closed.
Oh,
definitely.
yes.
Yeah, and it closed 2024, and then Chef Moose bought it, and then he reopened it, but now it's closed for good. So it's a big, big loss for that area.
Campo Verde was open how long, Imelda?
It was open over 40 years. I mean, it was open on 1983. A lot of history in there.
And RM 1220. I got to send out love to them.
Remember we talked about that place because they had a policy where they didn't want kids to go to RM 1220. And that could be perceived one way or the other. But I think you kind of loved that about it, right? You're like, there are so many places you can take your kids.
Yeah.
This place in your neighborhood of Lake Highlands, it's okay if you don't.
And I saw kids there as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But they weren't running around. It was a different kid vibe for sure if they did show up.
Yeah.
Well, this feels like a good time to take a quick break. But when we come back, it's time for the number one biggest DFW food moment for the past 4 years. If you think you know what it is, you probably do, but you're going to find out right after this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back to the Eat Drink DFW 4-year anniversary special. Our number one biggest moment in the North Texas food scene is coming up in a bit, but first, a quick reminder that you can always reach out to the Dallas Morning News food team at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. You've played an enormous role in this podcast over the years, from restaurant tips to some really fantastic recipes, so please keep it coming. All right, Sarah, why don't you tell us about number one, because you were actually there.
There.
The number one food moment in the last couple of years since we've started this podcast is unquestionably Michelin's arrival into Texas.
Yes, of course.
It was a big secret for many, many years in Dallas and in the other cities that were working on this deal. So that was kind of delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was something talked about behind closed doors. And we learned that 5 visitors bureaus in 5 Texas cities paid to have Michelin come to Texas, alongside a big chunk of change that came from Travel Texas, which is a state-funded entity located within the Office of the Governor's Economic Development and Tourism Office. That's a lot of words.
That is a lot.
This seems like government stuff. Okay, so Michelin said it was going to come to 5 cities in Texas, and none of those 5 cities' visitors bureaus had any say over where Michelin's secret inspectors would eat. Just that those were the 5 cities where they would look. So we learned this in 2024, and our first Michelin guide came out in fall of 2024. It was a big deal, and we had high hopes, and we wrote lots and lots of stories. Imelda, so many stories.
So many.
And can I just say how, like, no pun intended, delicious all the anticipation was leading up to that, all the predictions and the excitement around it.
Totally. And even, this is so silly, but even like the dress I picked to wear to the ceremony in order to cover the thing, it was a breaking news moment that happened during a party.
Wow.
It was the strangest thing ever. And my favorite fun fact about Michelin is the night when they announced all the star winners, to all these chefs, a room full of chefs wearing chef's coats, there's no dinner.
Oh, no.
Nobody gets fed dinner.
No. Well, I know.
No chicken tenders.
No, there are drinks and there are past apps that were mediocre at best. And I'm not trying to be rude to the people who hosted the party. It was just not a food event.
Wow.
I mean, we've all been to a zillion food events that are foodier than this one. And this was truly the state's best chefs all in the same room. So in that first year, we learned that Dallas had, drum roll please, 1 star winner. And we were like, okay.
We take it.
We'll take it. Tatsu, a wonderful Japanese restaurant, very small, very refined, got 1 Michelin star. There were other people that got some stuff, whatever. That was the big story. Fort Worth got no stars in the first year. That hurts because they paid just as much as everybody else to have Michelin come look at their restaurants. And in my opinion, there's some really cool stuff going on in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Okay, so year 2, we're wondering what's going to happen. And so I wear the dress and I go to the party, and it's a breaking news situation. It's very exciting. There's a room full of chefs. There's still no dinner. And drum roll, please. 2 restaurants get Michelin stars.
Woo!
The same one as last year, Tatsu. And then a wild surprise, Momini, the French restaurant that's not yet been open, for a couple of months, snags a Michelin star. And all the other chefs in town, while happy for that one guy, are like, wait a second. We've really been doing something special for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
These guys have served 48 dinners total. Oof. Michelin inspectors had been there enough times to recognize that Momini was a 1-star Michelin restaurant. I mean, this was serious news stuff. Very exciting, very strange, delicious in so many dramatic ways. So now in 2026, we approach our 3rd year. This is the last year of the current Michelin contract, which means Michelin could go away after this year. We don't know yet.
Wow.
So there will be more Michelin coverage coming, of course, from your favorite people at the Dallas Morning News, and lots of delicious anticipation, Julie, like you mentioned. But time will tell what happens in the future with Michelin. It will continue to be a big, important story in food.
There have been a lot of questions, maybe complaints,
Yeah.
since this last Michelin announcement. Is it possible that Michelin has listened to any of these concerns?
They're laughing.
Will they go to Fort Worth?
I don't know. I would love if they would call me. Michelin, if you're listening, my number is. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, Julie. I do think that these secretive critics seem to pay attention to what's new and what's interesting in all of the 5 cities that they've been covering in Texas. So I don't think their eyes are closed. But we all said in year 2 last year that Michelin seemed to kind of phone it in when it came to how they covered Texas. And whether they wanted our advice or not, we wrote lots of Dallas Morning News stories about what could have been done differently and also analyzing, what happened and what didn't happen. So I know a lot of chefs that are really let down by how Michelin has played out so far. What I'll say is there's a new guide every year. And if the contract continues, we just keep kicking this can down the road. So the scary thing about Michelin is that you don't keep your star once you earn it. It's one of the craziest things about this whole ordeal. And so even Tatsu and Mamani, the 2 restaurants that have their 1 star, they're not guaranteed a star in 2026 or if the contract continues in 2030 or anything like that. And so we will wait and see how much these inspectors are paying attention. And then we will wait to see how much they seem to understand our food.
I think it's important to say that hopefully some other cities jump in, because there are a lot of restaurants, I don't know, in Plano, in Richardson, in Frisco, whatever, and those are out, but I'm not sure about that. So, and the chefs aren't sure.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is that I can ask Michelin anything, just like you can ask any group anything. And they can answer or not.
Yeah.
I can't count the number of times, I've sent an email to say, I've got these 3 questions and one of them is answered. So like if anybody out there wants to know anything about Michelin, and I've had chefs and restaurant owners for years ask me stuff. Hey, do you know the answer to this? Or if you don't, can you ask for me? And I've done this for them. And sometimes they answer and sometimes they don't. A lot of these answers end up in news stories, but we don't really know how it works, Imelda. Now, Imelda, I want your take on this. What do you hope from Michelin in terms of how they've covered all of our Mexican food?
We need to see awarded tacos here because we have so damn good tacos, and Tex-Mex also, I will say, because that is our identity. This is what we are for real. I mean, you can award a French restaurant or an Italian restaurant, but we are in Texas, guys.
And from what I understand, the Michelin people love this podcast. So they're definitely paying attention to us.
I
Love that, Julie.
How do you know that?
Julie, are you a Michelin inspector?
And that's all the time we have for today.
Oh, no. A lady never tells.
Seriously, that is all the time we have for today. But honestly, everyone, if there's something that we missed on this list, please send it to eatdrink@dallasnews.com.
And a heartfelt thank you to those of you who've listened over the years. We've read every email and every podcast review, and we consider you to be a member of our food team as well. Honestly, this podcast would be nothing without you.
Well, thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate that comment.
Oh, well, Imelda, not you. I was talking about everybody else.
But of course, you too, Imelda. And for the news, I'm Julie Fisk. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.